Welcome to another Apollo Papyrus episode. I'm Aaron Apollo Camp. I interviewed multiple authors at the same time on a few occasions when this podcast was named the Heartland Author Podcast, but for the first time since this podcast was renamed to Apollo Papyrus, I had the opportunity to interview two authors in a single interview. One of my guests is the founder and CEO of Author Revolution, which seeks to help indie authors manifest their author destiny. Author Revolution provides a writing podcast, author coaching services, and digital author courses. Additionally, she will host the Millionaire Author Challenge digital course, and she has written many fiction novels and a nonfiction book. Her name is Carissa Andrews. My other guest is a clinical hypnotherapist, will co-host the Millionaire Author Manifestation with Carissa, and is the author of the memoir Dead Men Still Snore, as well as the Castle Point Witch series of psychic novels. Her name is Tammy Tyree. Here's my interview with Carissa and Tammy. Tammy Tyree and Carissa Andrews, welcome to Apollo Papyrus.
Well, thanks for having us.
Okay, I'll start with Carissa. Feel free to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure. My name is Carissa Andrews. I am an urban fantasy indie author. I also write rom-com and nonfiction, but I've mostly throughout the years written in urban fantasy. I've got 20 some odd books written so far. I lose count at this point in time. I'm also the founder and CEO of Author Revolution and the Millionaire Author Coach. So I teach authors how to manifest their millionaire author dreams and destinies, as well as kind of helping them understand how this process of indie authorship works from start to finish. So whether it be planning a series, whether it be using new technologies like ChatGPT, like I don't know, I have a weird range of interests. So I tend to bring everything to the mix when I'm talking with authors. So that's me in a nutshell.
Tammy, feel free to introduce yourself to our listeners.
Sure. I am Tammy Tyree. I am a board-certified clinical hypnotherapist and award-winning author of memoir and fiction, paranormal fiction. I am partnered with Carissa in the Millionaire Author Manifestation program that she hosts on Author Revolution. And I have been in the writing sphere as an indie for only the past, 2 or 3 years. So I came to meet Carissa through her programs that she offers on Author Revolution. And we decided that we were best friends, meant to be, and we were meant to work together. So here we are.
Okay, I'm going to go to Carissa now. Without spoiling too much of the books you've written, how many books have you written, and can you tell us what the titles of the books are and a little bit about them without spoiling too much of them?
Sure, yeah. So for me, I'm a lot like Tammy. I like adding paranormal elements. I went to school originally to be an archaeologist. I decided that was not for me and ended up doing something along the lines of comparative religion and understanding art, history, and literature from different angles. And so I love ancient art and ancient history. And so I bring a lot of that element into my writing. So I have a couple of different series out there at this point in time. They're ranging from like psychic mysteries to a paranormal fantasy fiction series called The Windhaven Witches. I also write rom-com now, so I'm doing that as well. And so it's just kind of, I'm all over the place. I have a lot of different interests, and it shows in the books that I write.
Tammy, same question for you. How many books have you written? And without spoiling too much of them, tell us a little bit about each one.
Sure. Well, first of all, my first foray into writing as an indie author was through my memoir, Dead Men Still Snore. So a personal account of my life and journey with my late husband and the accident that we had when he passed. And then I moved into paranormal fiction because I just have a love of all things paranormal, witchy, sort of in that realm. So I have one series out. There's 3 books, and I'm working on the prequel for that one, and that is the Castle Point Witch series.
Okay, Carissa, are your books self-published, traditionally published, or published via hybrid press?
Yeah, so I indie publish everything. For me, it was kind of I didn't quite, I mean, I've been publishing since 2010. My first book actually came out in 2013, but I started writing in 2010. And I wasn't, that was kind of like in that indie revolution where people weren't quite sure, like, what is self-publishing and should we trust authors who are doing it? So I wasn't sure I was going to go originally into it. But the more I kind of worked with my books, the more I worked with people who were in the indie sphere, the more I realized that that was the direction I wanted to go, because I've worked for retail bookstores, I've worked for printers, I've worked for publishers, I was a graphic designer. So it's like I've done all the things. I've kind of tap danced around the whole sphere. And I knew that eventually I'd like to have, something that felt more like mine. And indie authorship definitely brought that to me.
Okay, Tammy, same question for you. Are your books self-published, traditionally published, or via hybrid press?
They are all self-published, actually. When I started writing 20, 30 plus years ago, that was at the time where indie was not a thing, and publishing through a publishing house was pretty near impossible. So I feel like now I'm in a really good time and space to venture into writing and publishing, being as that I'm technically retired. This is sort of my retirement gig. I can't anymore say that I'm retired, actually, because I'm really, really busy with writing and all of the things that Carissa and I have going on. But indie is definitely the way that I wish to go and remain, for sure.
I'm going to stay with you, Tammy. Your first book, Dead Men Still Snore, was a memoir about, uh, it's partially about your husband's death. First, this is a two-part question. What caused your husband's death? Was that an auto vehicle accident or something else? And how are you able to get in the right state of mind after your husband's death to be able to write your book?
Yes, it was actually. He passed when we were traveling from Belize to Mexico in our Jeep, and we had a major accident, and he passed in the accident. And I basically, other than a concussion and some, bruising and stuff, I basically walked away. So um, the unique and interesting thing about that is that when I was in the hospital in Mexico, he started to channel me, sending me messages about writing a book together and telling me what the synopsis would be about and what we're going to include in it. And then he had messages that he wanted included in the book. So I felt compelled to start writing. And I didn't start until probably a good 6 months or so after I had come back to Canada and I was recovered. And then that journey took me about 2 years because it was difficult. There was definitely a lot of emotions involved and a lot of working with the developmental editor just to get my story heard and to get it right. And I think what we've produced, well, it's an award-winning novel. So I think we produced something really, really fantastic. So yeah, it was quite the journey. I really enjoy memoir. I enjoy reading memoir. I do want to write more memoir from travels and other parts and things that I've done with my life. So that's sort of in the future time too. Something I'll definitely be doing something. I just don't know what it is yet. So I'm waiting for some divine inspiration to hit at some point.
Love
Okay,
it.
I'm going to go to Carissa for the next question. Now, do you outline or plot heavily for your books, or do you write mostly by the seat of your pants?
Well, considering I teach authors how to plan their series, I'm definitely a planner. I would say that in the beginning, I was more of a pantser. I didn't quite understand story structure, so I just kind of had the story idea and ran with it. But I found that I got, once you get to that messy middle portion of a book, I got lost in the mix of it. Like, is this even a story anymore? What is the point of the story? Where am I going with this thing? All the things. And so I started studying story structure and understood, like the three acts and how the four quarters really come together in those three acts, how to be able to work within the story structure for certain genres. So throughout the past decade and a bit, I've been learning all of those things and applying them. So for me, when I write, I'll often write like a really quick skeletal synopsis of what I anticipate the story to be about, what I anticipate the series to be about. And then I'll give myself maybe a sentence or two about what each chapter could be about, knowing the direction of the story. From there, I let the scene itself kind of pants itself. So I'm not diving so deep into the beats that I'm trying to understand everything. I just want to know enough to be able to have fun in the story and not feel like I'm getting lost. So that's the way I work.
Okay. Now, on February 26th, the Millionaire Author Manifestation workshop that you two are going to be presenting is slated to begin. Carissa, I'll start with you. How will this Millionaire Author Manifestation workshop work?
Sure. Well, it's actually a two-part thing. We're actually kicking off the Millionaire Author Challenge first. So that comes at February 5th is when we're starting that. It's a 4-day challenge, basically to help authors understand how their thoughts turn into things, how manifestation works from start to beginning or from start to finish, and learning how to adjust like their thoughts, their perceptions, understand how to make the desires that they really have, like if it's earning $1 million, make that a reality. So the challenge itself is just like a kickoff, helping them to understand how powerful they really are as individuals, as magnetic beings, as attractors. And then the Millionaire Author Manifestation course is our big 12-week course that Tammy and I do, where we are in discussions about every angle, basically, of how manifestation works for our author careers. How do we produce and get and elevate ourselves out of this like lack mentality that authors often have? When we're kind of stuck in this mentality of thinking that, it's, starving artist mentality, or authors don't earn a lot of money, or indie authors don't earn a lot of money. It's all bogus. And so we're teaching them how to kind of reframe their thoughts and shift into more empowering beliefs. And then when Tammy pulls in so much of her wonderful hypnoses that help us get to the subconscious aspect of it. Now, this year for the Millionaire Author Challenge, it was originally created before I met Tammy. And so when we're kicking it off this year, Tammy's bringing her hypnoses to the challenge, which is going to be amazing. It's going to be the first time that anyone has had access to any of these hypnoses. And so it's going to be just so much fun to go about doing it. And yeah, so that's kind of how the dynamic works at present.
Okay, I'm going to go to Tammy with this next question because she is a clinical hypnotherapist by trade. What is your work as a clinical hypnotherapist like? And if authors can benefit from hypnotherapy, how can they?
Well, as a clinical hypnotherapist, the clients that I have generally worked with in my career have been depressed, anxious, or had suicidal ideation. So what hypnotherapy does is basically get to the root cause of what's happening, why they're having these issues in their life now. It's somewhat a way to sort of fast track the healing process. So if they're able to move the conscious mind aside and dive deeper into the subconscious mind, there is where we find those limiting beliefs. We find where there may be past trauma and things that we can reframe and heal, help them to heal, so that, the depression, anxiety, or suicidal ideation just is basically obliterated. So it's pretty heavy work, that is. So working with Carissa, when we met, she was interviewing me actually for my memoir. And we got to talking about her program. And I was like, what would be really good with that would be hypnosis. Because what better way to eliminate the lack thoughts and the thoughts of what makes me think I can be an author, what makes me think that I can do this, what thousands of things that go through an author's mind when they're writing, this is no good, it's limitless. And by incorporating the hypnoses and the hypnotherapy in with the program, they're able to dig deeper into where those thoughts have come from. And we basically work that out immediately, like in the first week of the program, so that from there, we can work directly with the subconscious mind to help them to manifest the career that they are longing for and that they're dreaming about and that they really, really want. So the hypnosis part is the part that allows them to dig deeper, not working with just the consciousness, which is the consciousness is the part that's telling them every day, "Oh, what makes me think I can do this?" The subconscious mind knows better. The subconscious mind knows that you are a powerful being. You can absolutely do, have, be anything that you want. We just have to get that other thought process out of the way and eliminate it completely from your playlist. So we work on that. So there's a lot of pre-recorded hypnoses that are part of the program. Every week for the 12 weeks of the program, we meet, we talk, we go over the week that they have just been through and the exercises that they were assigned to do. And then we do a hypnosis live in the group. And the feedback that we've gotten from our students has been absolutely incredible. Like a lot of the change, we've just watched them blossom into people who now really understand and know themselves and where these messages are coming from and how to stop that cycle within themselves within seconds. So it's so effective. I honestly can't say enough about it. Hypnotherapy in my own life has been the best counselor and teacher for me. So being able to become a hypnotherapist and then work with people in all ranges of issues in my life has been a real blessing. But especially now with working with the authors, it's just so much fun. I love every minute of it.
I'm going to go to Carissa. This will be the last question I ask Carissa here. Now, how will the Millionaire Author Manifestation Workshop not be? How is that not a scam or a get rich quick scheme? I think the total cost of it to enter is a little under $2,000 American.
Right. So the way that it works, it's okay, obviously not a get rich quick scheme. It has nothing to do with getting rich quick. The idea behind the Millionaire Author Manifestation aspect of it is for, number one, authors to get out of their own way when it comes to millionaire, that term itself, millionaire author. So I personally am not at the millionaire status yet either. I'm working toward it. And so my audience has known me and grown with me for the past 5 years throughout the revolution. They understand like pretty much everything that I've been doing through my podcast as well. And so the concept and the basis behind the course itself, the 12-week course, that you were just talking about, that is to help them really dig into all of those limiting beliefs, those thoughts that keep them stuck, because those are the things that are keeping them in a place where growth can't happen, where their story doesn't get finished, where they don't even publish their story, or if they do publish their story and they feel like they're not seeing the action or the results that they were really anticipating, they don't get stuck in that cycle of believing that they can't get out of that part, right? So this particular course is here to help them elevate their mindset, elevate how they get the things that they do want, understand how manifestation works, understand that they're in control and in charge of what they get to have when they get to have it. They could hypothetically have their millionaire author career happen tomorrow if that's something that they truly desired and their energy was so backing it that there was no other option to have it happen. That is absolutely a possibility. But I feel as we've worked with authors throughout the years, we are such complex creative creatures, especially because we like our light and dark. We like our challenges. We like to feel like we've overcome something. There's often this like period where they have to go, can I really do this? And so as they start to shift those beliefs, as they start to understand the underlying causes, it can be not a slow process, but a gradual process at first. And then it gains momentum the more they work with it, the more they see it working for them in their own lives, the more they apply it. So it's really a course that helps them dig so far into everything that they believe they can have, be, or do in their author career in all facets. So whether it be the writing, the editing, the publishing, the marketing, like we come at it from all of the angles when it comes to being an author itself. And now if people come into the wait list, the cost is actually much less. We put out a wait list price. So we do a coupon, join the wait list. You can head over to it's millionaireauthorcoach.com/manifestation course to get on the wait list. And I believe the discount is at least 30% off. So hop in there if you want to check it out. With Millionaire Author Challenge, if they use promo code Apollo, they can actually save and get it for $27 to join the challenge. So that's all it would cost. So use promo code Apollo, one word, obviously. And so both of them are just really meant and designed, specifically designed to get them either number one, into the door of understanding how manifestation works, understanding like how good it gets to feel, how good like life, because all of this transcends your author career. It's not, none of this has to be specifically and only applied to your author career. It's everything you do. It's how you look at life. It's how you look at, the way you interact with the people around you. It's everything. So the challenge helps you understand that. We have games and we have just that starting basis. But for those who really like resonate with it and understand, that's where the challenge goes then to the manifestation course, and it goes deeper, like way, way deeper. So that's my take on this.
Mm.
Okay, Tammy, one final question for you. There's a workshop, I believe, that's a precursor to the Millionaire Author Manifestation. Is that a kind of a prerequisite to understand the Millionaire Author Manifestation, or can you just participate in one or the other?
Oh, you can most definitely participate in one or the other. The Millionaire Author Challenge is previous to our opening the Millionaire Author Manifestation full program. So the challenge itself being 4 days, it gives people the taste of what the full program will be, but they can also get so much out of the challenge itself. And now with adding the hypnosis also into the challenge and a meeting with Carissa and I, they will absolutely come away with great insight, great information, and a feeling of elevation and, really helping launch into their career or getting away from their limiting beliefs. So it's not a prerequisite per se, but it's definitely something that if you're interested in wanting a taste of what the full challenge is, and I mean, we meet every single week for 12 weeks in the full program, and once a month, every month thereafter. And once you're in the program, you're in it for life. So every year when we relaunch the program, you're part of the program every year without no additional cost to you. And every month you're part of our community and you meet with us and we, talk about all the things. We go over what might be a challenge for you in that month, in that week, in that day, whatever it is, and then help you to overcome it. So it's fully encapsulating everything, the 12 weeks, but then it just moves on from there. So it's not like we can leave you in a lurch and go, there you go, you're just doing this. It's like, no. Every week we meet, every week we go over what that week was about. We do the hypnosis live. We really touch on what's happening in everyone's lives. And then every month after the challenges or after the program is complete. Yes. But the challenge, the 5-day challenge, the one that starts February 5th, it's 4 days plus the Q&A day. So 5 days. And that, definitely people will get something out of. At the very least, it's really going to give them a good idea of what manifestation really means and what it means to remove those beliefs that they have in themselves that they can't do this.
Carissa and Tammy, I thank you both for appearing on Apollo Papyrus, and you both were amazing guests.
Thank you very much, Erin. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so much for having us.
This was probably the least prepared I had ever been for an interview. I had prepared for an interview with just Tammy, and I was not aware that she had written a fiction series until I interviewed her. Thankfully, both Carissa and Tammy were wonderful guests, and there will be a ton of links and a promo code in the text description of this episode. To give full disclosure, I am not in any way whatsoever receiving any form of compensation, financial or otherwise, for the promo code. This is Aaron Apollo Camp reminding y'all to write and read your passion. Bye for now. Remember to subscribe to the Apollo Papyrus YouTube channel at www.youtube.com/@ApolloPapyrus and the Apollo Papyrus Substack newsletter at apollopapyrus.substack.com. Y'all can visit the Apollo Papyrus website at campaaronapollo.wixsite.com/Apollo Papyrus and follow Apollo Papyrus on Threads, Instagram, Facebook, and Tumblr at Apollo Papyrus. Copyright 2024, Aaron Apollo Camp, all rights reserved. This podcast episode is intended for the private listening of our audience. Any reuse or retransmission of this episode without the express written consent of the podcast host is prohibited, except under fair use guidelines. Royalty-free music and sound effects obtained from https://www.zapsplat.com.